The Dallas Stars sweep the season series over Seattle. Casey DeSmith is brilliant once again. Oh yeah, Wyatt Johnston is awesome, and so is Roope Hintz.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Once again, the Dallas Stars find a way to pick up 2 points. They extend their win streak to 6 games in a 3-1 win over the Seattle Kraken. They sweep the season series over the Kraken. They finished the month of March 11-2-2, 7-0-2 in their last 9 games. And Razor said it at the end of today's broadcast. They just find a way to win. It doesn't have to be pretty. It can be ugly sometimes, but they just win. Who knows how they win? We'll break it all down for you on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Stars, brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase. We'll get to Wyatt Johnston as well, who is just tearing it up, and he looks elite and exactly like I thought he would coming in to this season. But we have to start with Casey DeSmith, who was excellent once again. I believe he gave up a goal on the first shot of the game. It was either the first or second shot, and then was just perfect sense. He stops 35 of 36. The Stars get outshot again. It was a real skating game. There was a lot of space out there for both sides to make plays, and both the Stars and Kraken had some excellent scoring chances in the game. The high danger chances at 5-on-5 were in favor of Seattle, 13-10, and in all situations 14-10 in favor of the Kraken. And some of that was helped out by a few of the penalties from Dallas. 2 of the 3, maybe 2 of the 4 that Dallas took. How many did they take in total? 3. 2 of the 3, I don't even know if they were actual penalties. The one on Bischel was really mind-boggling to me. It says here on NHL.com, a high-sticking penalty on Matty Beniers. I don't know if I saw it. Maybe we didn't get the right replay on Victory Plus, but the penalty kill came up ginormous once again. They go 3 for 3, and DeSmith was a large part of that. I mean, look, he's now 8-0-1 in his last 9 starts. You can look at some of the advanced numbers. He's up there with some of the best in the NHL. His goal save above expected is 14th. It's behind Jake Ottinger by just 4 spots, 15.5. You look at his save percentage above expected, it's number 1 in the NHL, above Jake Allen, above Hellebuck, Thompson, Gibson, Stolarz, Kemper, Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, you name it. Casey DeSmith is leading the way, and he was phenomenal once again. Gave up the goal early from Kakko. Wasn't his fault. The Stars got puck watching, and it was a really, really long first shift for that trio of Dadonov, Ben, and Johnston. And we saw later in the game they put Dadonov on the 4th line, put Bork on that trio, and I thought that sort of solidified some things defensively for them, and the Stars were able to clap back quickly via Wyatt Johnston and Matt Duchene. A great goal for Dutchy. Marchment was sending that puck 30 miles wide. Duchene was right there, and it deflected off of him and into the back of the net. Johnston gets the tally later, and boom, the Stars flip the lead on its head, and they're off and running. They had an excellent shift late in the first period. That top line had 3 or 4 scoring chances on that one shift. My goodness, they should have made it 3-1. Rantanen hit the side of the net. God, he's so good, and his ability to just create for Robertson and Hintz is second to none. He is so fun to watch, and every time the puck's on his stick, almost it's infuriating to watch sometimes because he is so calm with it. You're like, move the puck, make a play, because he has so much confidence and he sees the game so well. He takes his time. He's never in a rush. And that line had a lot of excellent looks at 5-on-5, 8 scoring chances for that line that led Dallas. Granlund had a really nice game too. I thought he was creating a lot of good things for Dallas, especially off the rush. Him and Duchesne both had their legs tonight. Also have to mention, Branson made a couple of phenomenal defensive plays, and that's something that Rantanen does not get a lot of love for. And if you look at some of his analytics, he doesn't grade out well as a defender. But since he's arrived in Dallas, he's looked really good. And I said this before with Ryan Chambers, the sarcastic remarks. He just needs to be a willing defender at points. And he had that great stick lift on Montour. I want to say it was in the second period. He uses his reach well. He's always in a good position. He's in the way, so to speak. His awareness of where he should be usually is usually spot on, and that gives him chances to break up plays, break up passes, and to be a willing and an average defender. Thought he was excellent on both sides of the puck, but it was, again, just a night where it was a bit of a skating game. It was a high event game. I mean, there's a total of what, 67 shots in the game. That's a lot of rubber on netminders, and it wasn't overly physical. And I thought Dallas just had a pretty strong game at points. They were taking on water a bit in that second period. Seattle had some great chances, and again, Casey DeSmith is a difference maker. But Seattle had 62% of possession at 5-on-5. They were aided a bit by some of the penalties Dallas took, and they got to stay out of the box. But again, some of those penalties were not infractions. I don't know how Dallas keeps getting nabbed for all these minor penalties that don't seem to actually be penalties. And it was hilarious because the one penalty they actually probably took in the game was Blackwell, when the Stars were down a man already, and they didn't call that one. And that was the most obvious penalty of any of the ones called tonight, in my opinion. Don't want to complain and, bitch about the referees. But look, the Stars bucked up, and they got a couple of huge kills. DeSmith is Casey DeSmith. I can't say much more about what he has done here in Dallas, and he'll be here for another couple years at $1 million. It's an absolute steal. The Kraken had an expected goals for number 3.21. Dallas had 4.5. So don't get it twisted. The Stars had some looks tonight, and just couldn't bury. Although Grubauer was excellent too. Outside of the one trio for Seattle, I thought Dallas kept the Kraken in control. It was the trio, Beniers, Kakko, and Short. They were running ragged. 16 scoring chances in the game. For that line alone, 16 scoring chances. If you look at the other lines, they ended up with a combined amount of scoring chances of 7. So 7 scoring chances out of all the other lines combined. And Schwartz, Kakko, and Beniers had 16 of them. They were excellent. They spent a lot of time in the offensive zone. But I think Dallas did a nice job of just of bending, not breaking. That's sort of been their MO. Got a couple of great shifts from your fourth line. Blackwell checked back in. He looked great. And that line had a couple of really nice, shifts here and there when Dallas needed it. Again, you can look at their numbers. Blackwell, when he's on the ice, scoring chances 4-9, scoring chances against 3. And you can go down to Oscar Beck too. 9 chances, 7, 3 against. That's exactly what you want out of your fourth line. Spending time in the offensive zone, setting up the next trio for success. And Dallas did enough today. They punched back right away after getting scored on in the opening 62 seconds. they come right back, and Johnson, that's its 30th of the season, and Dallas caps off a heck of a month of March. As I mentioned earlier, 11-2-2 in the month of March, and they played some of their worst hockey of the entire year. It's laughable at some points. Casey DeSmith's last 3 starts, this comes from Josh Clark, 117 saves on 122 shots, 959 save percentage. Just incredible stuff from DeSmith. And that's where it really comes down to once again. There was no Sam Steele tonight, by the way, for those of you that were unable to stay up to watch another late night West Coast game and have to go to work tomorrow. Steele was dealing with a bit of that injury when he ran into Brendan Smith on Saturday. So Blackwell and Beck were back in, and they did exactly what you would expect of them. Dallas goes 0-for-3 on the power play. That's sort of a negative note if you had to really point to one. I know they got outshot again, but it was a lot different than it has been in past. They were good on the dots. They won 53%. They were excellent down the stretch. That's when they needed to win some draws. And Granlund scored the empty netter, by the way, to seal this one off in the third for the Stars. And they take both games against Seattle. And now they're still 4 points behind Winnipeg, which is remarkable. They're maybe able to make some things interesting here. They've won 6 in a row. So all great things from the Dallas Stars for the most part. I think we all have to take some of it with a grain of salt, but look, I'll say this: I'd rather them win than not, because if they had lost a couple of these games, why they were playing poorly, Colorado would probably be within 2, maybe 1 point of Dallas, and now they're 8 after losing in the shootout tonight. 8 points behind with the Stars having 8 games remaining. So, yeah, that's awesome stuff. Okay. Harley was great, by the way. Just need to throw that out there. Lindell was awesome on the penalty kill. Shocker. He had that one shift in the second period where he just ate the puck on the wall for a good minute and some change. He had just under 3 minutes on the power play alone, or PK. I like that they're getting Bichel involved too, letting him get some minutes, get some time on the penalty kill as well. They like to pair him with CC a bit, so I like to see that. And it was good work from the PK again. But how about that, man? Stars go 4-0 on the road trip, and they're back home against Nashville here in a couple days. Okay, let's talk about Wyatt Johnston. It's April Fool's, but he's fooling no one. He's one of the best scoring centers right now in the NHL. That's not even being dramatic. He truly is. Let's talk about his awesomeness in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your banking account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money, you start building wealth. When you start using Monarch, you can realize how much you're spending on food delivery, entertainment. You need to budget smarter and save more. It's that all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com. Use code Locked On NHL, 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code Locked On NHL for half off your first year. Alrighty, you know how much I love Wyatt Johnston, and now he has goals in 5 straight games. That was a beauty. He scored to give the Stars a lead. It turns out to be the GWG, and he just continues to be excellent. And this comes at a point in time where his line mates, whether it's Dadonov and Ben or Bork, whoever, are not picking up a ton of points in his wake. It's just Johnston that is barreling and just hammering opponents. He hits the 30 goal mark for the second straight season, and he is playing a really fantastic, I think, two-way game. His line, I think, leaves some to be desired in their defensive zone. But I think he's just looked excellent, and he continues to be one of the other partner in crime I would put in the same category as Duchesne. I think Rantanen sort of in that, and Robo when he's hot, of one of the few players on Dallas that can just create scoring chances for themselves. And it's another one of those flip plays that just falls perfectly for him, and he buries it. But my goodness, he is just so fun to watch when he's humming like that. And his line didn't get a ton of scoring chances. They just had 4. He had individual 4 scoring chances, which isn't a ton. But man, he can't stop scoring, and he played 16 and a half minutes tonight, and just finds a way to hit the back of the net. I've talked about him a lot this season, especially during the offseason, because I have such high expectations of him, and he was in a little rut, and now he's just humming. You look at some of the numbers since February, and we touched on this just a few weeks ago. Him and Robertson are up there with some of the best in the world, some of the best in the league of goals and points, just overall production offensively. And of course, he plays in all situations, which makes him so versatile and so valuable. I would love to see him play with either Rantanen some more too, if that could be a possibility. I'm not advocating for them to move Rantanen off the top line. They need to keep them together. But I'm curious if Seguin comes back, they could drop him down. They could drop Granlund down with him. That is a logical and maybe a solution to some of that line's issues offensively. And it's not like they're having issues necessarily, but they're not creating a ton. It's just Wyatt Johnston for the most part. Granlund, I think, would be an excellent partner with Johnston and Jamie Benn. Maybe you don't want to break up with what you have in the Duchesne line right now, and you could have Seguin on that line, and maybe you put Seguin and Benn together once again. Although that doesn't give you a lot of speed and won't give you a lot of forechecking power, forechecking ability, I would say. So I think Granlund dropping down, Seguin returns to his normal trio, and Granlund, Benn, and Johnston, I think, would give you something. That's two guys that are really savvy with the puck on their stick, and Granlund and Johnston. And Benn elevates his game in the playoffs. He has another level. It's not happening for him a lot this season. Even though he's having a decent year, his production's down a bit, just not getting a lot of offense on the power play. He just hasn't been able to soak up some of that production. But I'm curious to see, since Seguin's skating again, maybe they don't want to break up what they have with the top 6, because Granlund's been a great fit. Is it better than what what Seguin was when they were on that line? Maybe debatable. I'm actually curious about that now that I bring it up. I kind of want to just take a peek, since I have Money Puck up right now. Let's just take a peek and see where Granlund, Duchesne, and Marchment fit. And you have to take, I think, this line with a bit of grain of salt, just because Marchment just came back and he's sort of finding his way. You look at their expected goals for, it's actually really low for Duchesne, Marchment, and Granlund, 37.7%. The Marchment, Seguin, Duchesne line, 58%. It's a top line. And they're about the same amount of minutes now. It's actually pretty comparable. 194 for Sagan's before for the Sagan line until they went down. 189 now for Marchment. The expected goals per 60, Sagan, his line as the best line on Dallas. The Grand line ranks fourth. So I guess if you look at some of those numbers, it would tell you they need to put Sagan back on that line. And then what I just was mentioning, Granlund drops down, plays with Ben and Johnston, Dodonov, and Bork can play on that fourth line with Sam Steele probably. Man, that's going to be a tough decision, actually, when you think about who comes out of the lineup, because they really like Beck. I find it hard getting him out of the lineup. Matter Bork may be the odd man out there. I could see a lot of Dodonov, Beck, and Steele. I think would be the trio Pete DeBoer would go with. And maybe Bork mixes in here and there, depending on the series, depending on the game, the style. So that's a fascinating conversation we'll have to kick around here in the next few weeks too. If Sagan does come back here at some point, which all signs are leading that way, which is great. But yeah, Wyatt Johnston is awesome to put a bow on this segment. I know we sort of got sidetracked there, but I think that was an interesting conversation just because the thought of Sagan coming back, and maybe you don't want to mess up what Duchesne, Marchment have going with him. But if you look at some of those numbers, it would lead you in the path of, yeah, let's put Sagan back on there because it was one of the best lines in all of hockey. But let's not gloss over the fact Wyatt Johnston's phenomenal. Just to put a bow on this, because it's been kind of coming up recently, his draft class 2021, I mean, Wyatt Johnston by far should be the first overall pick in a redraft. 172 points, 85 goals. He has, 30-something more points, about 30 more points than Matty Beniers, who was taken second overall. That's the next closest to him in a draft. Yeah, Stars hit at 23rd overall, to say the least. Gosh, he's a lot of fun. Roope Hintz also has been tearing it up. He picked up an NHL award this past week. Many of you probably have already saw, but let's discuss that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you keep that feeling of being fuller longer. They have Wonderful Pistachios all over the place. Wherever you can find your little snacks, they're in every grocery store. They have a complete protein providing all 9 essential amino acids. They're a great grab and go snack. The satisfying crack of opening each shell, it's like snack medication. Whether you're running between meetings, dropping the kids off, Wonderful Pistachios are a snack that works as hard as you do. Get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. So did want to mention this since this came out today. Earlier, Wyatt Johnston, Roope Hintz, just got Wyatt Johnston on my mind, but Roope Hintz earned himself the second Star of the Week award in the NHL. Nikita Kucherov was first. He had 11 points, so it would have been tough to win it all. But 2 goals, 7 assists, and 9 points for the NHL's second Star of the week, and he's having a really, really nice stretch of play here. I've loved is a number one center, and this is the type of play you need from Roope Hintz come playoff time, right? We always sort of come back to this. Roope Hintz has, I think, been inconsistent, maybe hit or miss would be a better description of his playoff performances in the past. And we all know how important he is, right? And we talk about it a lot when we get to this point of the season, but he has to play at an elite level, especially in the West when you got a ton of just phenomenal center icemen like Scheifele and McKinnon and Brock Nelson now in Colorado, Kaprizov. When you're going up against these type of guys in the postseason, it's just so important that he plays at an elite level, because when he does, he forces the opponent to take notice. He forces them to make adjustments, and then that will free up guys like Robertson and guys like Rantanen. And Rantanen's just another mix now that teams have to worry about. But my goodness, he's been fantastic. And you look at his playoff numbers: 78 games, 57 points, and 21 goals. He only had 8 points last year in 15 games. And I know he had some issues with an injury. I think he got his arm whacked in that Colorado series, and he had to miss maybe a game or two, if I recall, or he was at least hindered. But 8 points in 15 games, and just 2 goals, really. Like, he's got to be better, right? And the previous year had 10 points, or 10 goals, and 24 points. Like that's the type of production they need from him, because it's just something. He has characteristics that other stars don't have. His speed, number one. He's just an above average elite skater. When he's flying the way he does, he forces teams to make mistakes because they're so worried about his speed and his ability to get downhill and go to the net. And right now he's having one of the best stretches of hockey I think we've seen from Roope Hintz, and I really don't think that's much of an overstatement. He's got 4 straight multi-point nights now. He has 9 points or 8 points in his last 4 games. He's just all over the place, and we all know what he does in the face-off dot and what he does in the defensive zone. He's excellent. He's excellent all over the place. And he's playing like a Selke type of game right now, and that's just all good signs for the Stars. And we've said it before, Stars will go as far as Roope Hintz can take them a bit too. And it is nice that Wyatt Johnston is right behind him, and Matt Duchene. It's a deep team. It's a deep team. And look, it is Seattle, so maybe we shouldn't take a whole lot out of this. But they're winning games, which is a good thing, although it hasn't looked pretty. And I would love to come on here. Well, I wouldn't love to, but I guess it would be easy for me to come on here and just be negative about everything. But I think there's a time and place for that. A week ago, yes, Stars were winning, but looked horrible. They've looked better here over the last 2 games. Maybe because it's Seattle and they're not a contender and they're not really playing for anything at this point. But it's a step in the right direction, and we'll take that right now. It's a step in the right direction, and maybe it will all come together at the end of the season. They're playing some of their better hockey. You get Hintz back or Sagan back, possibly Miro, and you're off to the races in round 1 against Colorado, right? So, yeah, great stuff. Fun episode today on a Tuesday, April 1st. Happy April, Stars fans. I'll be in a van, a U-Haul tomorrow, driving to Shreveport. So hopefully I will be able to record at night, barring any terrible travel issues, which have popped up a lot recently. And I'll be able to get out an episode in a timely manner on Wednesday. As always, thank you guys so much for the love and support. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. Big weekend for the Ice Rays, by the way. A battle for second place is on the line. It's coming down to the final series. Who wins the first round bye to begin the playoffs? Both teams are in, but on the line this weekend. 2-game series. Who wins second and gets that bye. So going to be an awesome atmosphere in Shreveport against the Mudbucks. Looking forward to that. Going to be a lot of fun, and I'm stoked for the playoffs, which are right around the corner. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. Anyways, that'll do it. Have a great rest of your day, Stars fans. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully on time, and we'll see you then. So long, Stars fans.